Here we go, a delightful reading of a book called The Woman of Wyrrd, The Arousal of the Inner Fire, by author Lynn V. Andrews. Lynn V. Andrews is also the author of Medicine Woman and Jaguar Woman. This book she dedicates for my mother, Rosalind Staples, who is teaching me to remember. Page 1. Breaking the silence that turns around the double edge of seeing, I have called you into the night moon, because we have come to learn the end of waiting. By J.C. It is stated on the second page that this is a true story. Some of the names and places in this book have been changed to protect the privacy of those involved. Preface. Have you ever wondered what you are doing on this earth, why you are alive, and what meaning there is to the pain that we all experience? When I was in Nepal and Tibet in the spring of 1988, I asked these questions of my teacher, Agnes Whistling Elk. We were sitting on top of a mountain in the foothills of the Annapurna Himal. Agnes chuckled a little at my questions. She pointed her knobby brown finger at the face of the Annapurna, whose crown was obscured by fluffy white clouds. We are like that mountain, she said. The extent of her power and beauty is hidden from view. At the top she is lost in a dream. Before we are born onto this earth walk, we wait for a great blessing, our chance to be born onto earth. We know that we come here to be enlightened. When we are born, the dream begins. Like the cloud hiding the mountaintop, the dream obscures our true vision. We must gather a strong wind to blow away the clouds. Then we can truly see the whole of our being, the silent mountain that we are. That is what life is all about. Waking up from the dream. We have come here to be enlightened. Yet, it is the one thing that we are most afraid of. To be initiated is to have the walls of ignorance torn away. That is what our work together is about. For you to be initiated into our circle, the Sisterhood of the Shields. One of our members must first pass on to the other side. There was a great woman, the old wise one among us, who held great power and had memorized all the old ways. She chose her death so that you could become initiated. Old Annapurna is not unlike our friend and sister who made this choice. She was magnificent in her white shields of serenity. She taught me about the balance of vulnerability and power one needs to become an enlightened being. She was a confuser of the clouds, could move through the air like a beam of light. She was our prime mover for a long time. What was her name? I asked. She is asked to reveal her name and her teachings to you herself, Agnes said, watching me with her head cocked to one side like a crow. But how can that be? I asked. On our journey into Tibet, if you pass the initiation, you will be able to answer your own question, Agnes said, getting up from the flat brown stone we had been sitting on. No amount of questioning got me an answer. I had to find it myself. When I found the valley of Luktang in Tibet, I discovered a place of dreaming, where information is exchanged in very unusual ways. Ways that I had experienced before, particularly in Australia, in what is called the sacred dream time. It was made clear to me that this extraordinary woman would teach me about a life that we had shared together a long time ago. Through the experience of this life together, she would instruct me again, as she once had as my teacher. Very few of the details were given to me as yet, but I understood that we were part of an ancient and powerful magic, the Way of Wyrrd, whose great secrets far exceed what we know now. These secrets have been preserved down through civilization. They have been disguised and hidden in the mountains, in rocks, in the sky, in the sacred waters of earth. I was told that when the time was right, certain people would be chosen to recover these ancient teachings and bring them to light. My teacher in that life of so long ago would be my guide in the Way of Wyrrd. My next journey would be with this wise old woman. As grandmother, she would help me to understand through our experiences together how each of us carries a spirit shield that can be imprinted with knowledge from one lifetime to another. In writing about my experiences with the Woman of Wyrrd, I was again faced with a problem of language and translation that I've always struggled with in my books. Many books have been artfully written using the English of long ago throughout. However, I came to a decision with the sisterhood that because the aspects of Wyrrd, in parentheses, the study of power and magic in ancient Europe, in parentheses, that I was attempting to explain were already so remote and unusual, I should use language as clear and familiar as possible. There are times when that decision may diminish the reader's experience of ancient England. But this is a book of magical teachings, not an anthropological study, though I would have been very proud to have discovered a way to express the lush intricacies of those ancient words and terms with the subtlety of the powers of Wyrrd that grandmother imparted to me. In spirit, respect, and love for the Woman of Wyrrd. Lynn Andrews. End of preface. Preface. I'm not really for sure how that is supposed to be spoken. A little history about the Woman of Wyrrd, printed by Harper Perennial. And it was printed in, I'm not finding a copyright date yet. I have a paperback version, and we'll probably be going through this a little bit, off and on. Here we go. New York. Looks like possibly the date on this paperback that I have is 1990. Lynn V. Andrews is known for several books dealing with various shamanic practices, such as Medicine Woman, A Flight of the Seventh Moon, Jaguar Woman, Star Woman, Crystal Woman, Wind Horse Woman, Teachings Around the Sacred Wheel. I have read many of Lynn V. Andrews' books, and even though they are shamanic and mystical, they are also very entertaining. And she just takes you along on this crazy wild journey of her self-discovery with the aid of several of her friends, some of them Native American, who live in Canada, but she has others, many around the globe. And apparently the Sisterhood of the Shields, according to my research, is actually a real thing. Very secretive, but is actually, honestly, a real thing. And what attracted me to this book first was the spelling of wyrrd. Not word as in W-O-R-D, but wyrrd, W-Y-R-R-D. And I'm going to end this recording here. I'm going to do a little research on wyrrd, how it came about, and just get a little bit of understanding on that before I progress into the book any further. I hope you enjoyed this recording and you have a great day. Thank you.